Hold on to your hats and glasses, because this here is the Wildest Ride Podcast. Welcome back to the Wildest Ride Podcast, and on this episode, we'll bring in our friend Russ to discuss Lightning Lane Premiere, the very hot topic going on in the Disney community. I am your host, Brian California, and with me, as always, my co-host, Big Texas. We had to bring in the expert. We had to bring in our friend Russ, all the way from Georgia. Russ, how you doing, sir?
I'm great.
Russ, you become a regular on the show.
Oh, he record-breaking third time.
Well, ratings don't lie. I, as much as I'm getting paid to do this, y'all just keep tripling my salary every single time. How can I say no?
3 churros, it's costing us a lot, man.
Oh wait, I didn't. Okay, I'll take that.
I thought he said he wanted 3 margaritas from the Mexico Pavilion.
Yeah, 3 turkey legs, 3 margaritas. Yeah.
Hey, hey, it is what it is.
Sounds
Anything to
good.
get Russ on.
We need we need to do our show from the Mexico Pavilion one day.
That would actually be fun. A couple margaritas in, it'd be a wild show.
Yeah, I don't know about the reception down in La Cava, but we could try.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Before we get into this hot topic that is taking the Disney World by storm right now, I do want to gauge your guys's. I want to see how you guys are feeling going into this weekend, since you guys are rivals this weekend and you guys are playing each other this weekend in college football. I know it's not a college football podcast, but
Well, first of all, let me say that we don't really have any rivals. We're 50-0 in the last 50 games when we don't have to play Alabama, so we don't really have a lot of rivals. But we'll show we'll accept Texas in and show them how it feels to be in the SEC after all those years of playing in the Big 12 or however many teams they got up there.
If history recalls, a few years ago we did play. I believe we played Georgia in the Sugar Bowl, and
You
when we were in the
definitely
Big
did. Well,
12.
part of us. As much as we played FSU in the Sugar Bowl last year, you guys played us in the Sugar Bowl in 2019. Yes.
And I kind of remember a different result, Russ.
Yeah. Well, why didn't you keep Tom Herman then? Probably should have kept your coach if it was such a good day. But I watched that show with Coleman from ESPN Zone. Parentheses RIP close parentheses. That was the last big game we watched in that facility, and I still can't believe. I don't know how I'm going to watch college football in a cake shop, but
that's hilarious.
I'm seriously thinking about walking in there one Saturday afternoon with my phone and sitting at a table and turning my phone up on college football real loud and just acting like I'm in the ESPN zone. See how long it takes to get kicked out.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I'm just, it's nice being number 1, right? And we ain't worried about Georgia.
Okay, that's cool. That's
I
cool.
don't know. I'm a USC guy, so I haven't been number 1 in a really long time. So.
Well, they're touting that as their big win of the year, right? No, that's Michigan. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what Texas has got. I'm not going to talk a lot of smack because they may well be good, but I will say this: if they're good, it's not because of anything we've seen so far. They just might be a good team, but I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen. You can only play the teams on your schedule, and unfortunately, the first part of Texas' schedule is not super tough. Things are going to get. They're about to have a pretty rough second half of the season, so. Hey, if you're a good team and you can roll through that schedule, more power to you.
I mean, we beat we destroyed our rivals. We beat Michigan. We beat the national champions. Like I said, this is probably gonna be the toughest game of the season for us.
We're the toughest game of the season for everybody, man.
I think if we beat Georgia, I don't see why we don't go undefeated for the whole year. But
I agree.
like I was telling Brian, I'm my dude. This 12 team playoffs is going to be very interesting.
I have a question, Christian. If you go up 28-0 in the first quarter, will you believe the game is over, or will you still be a little worried?
Oh, dude, I'm a football fan. We gotta be up by 3 in like the fourth quarter, 21
Be-
touchdowns. 21 points.
Because you have to admit what happened at Alabama, although it was embarrassing for a little while, it is a little scary to think that you can be ahead by 4 touchdowns at home, and you're Alabama, and you barely won. They barely won. So I would have to wonder how that would feel to be another team thinking how much do we have to be ahead to where they're not going to claw back, because I didn't think we were going to come back. I mean, I'm realistic too, but that was the weirdest thing I've seen in a long time, because 4 touchdowns in the first quarter, usually the game's over. I don't care who you're playing. Yep. But we'll see. It should be an interesting weekend. I'm excited.
We shall see.
Rip Pete Rose.
Oh yeah, that's a big. I was gonna bring that one up too.
Yeah,
R.I.P.
yeah. That's a tough one.
Unfortunately, he didn't get to see himself inducted into the Hall. I think eventually he gets there, but
there's probably some provision down the line for veterans that don't have to be. The Hall can do whatever they want. They're not.
Right.
They're not associated with MLB, but I think eventually there'll be some pressure. But he said publicly, "Once I'm dead, screw you, don't bother."
Yeah.
So in a way, I'm kind of okay with it more now than I was when he was alive, because if he says screw you, then I say screw you too. So
yeah, unfortunately, it kind of closes the chapter on that one.
It's unfortunate. The only person now who can profit from him being in the Hall of Fame is the Hall of Fame, and that's unfair.
Yeah, true.
And they will profit, because if they put him in, the attendance would skyrocket for weeks or months.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Whatever they were to, whatever physical presence that he would have would be there, would make them extremely popular destination for some amount of time. So yeah, that's the thing that bothers me, is they're going to be the only one that's going to profit from it. And oh well, he's gone. It's you don't have Pete Rose to pick on anymore, I guess.
Yeah, true.
Yep.
Yeah. So. Well, let's move into this hot Disney topic right now. Actually probably the hottest topic I've seen in a little while. Lightning Lane premiere pass.
Sharpen your pitchforks.
I think me and you might have difference of opinion on this one. I personally, I think I'm okay with it. Just Disney offers VIP tours. This is kind of more of a self-guided VIP tour.
I like it because it's transparent. There's no secrets as to how bad of a deal it is. I mean, do I like the idea? Do I like they did it? Sure, I think it's great. I think there should be a level tier for everybody. At any level of that you want to pay. But the good thing is that it's not like there's a little bit of fine print, and then you find out this or that. Going in, it's a bad deal. To me,
right.
This is silly, but for that amount of money, sure. For that amount of money, you should be able to ride whatever you want. If I want to ride Space Mountain until I have a stroke, then I should be able to. The money is fine, because it is what it is, and that's their price, and they have their right. But to limit it to one ride per day per person is pretty silly. I mean,
right.
If they came out and said $400, unlimited rides, unlimited park hopping, it still would be ridiculous. But at least then it would be like, well, hey, you can do whatever you want to do for $400. At least you know the price. But
right,
yeah,
who's gonna pay $400 to ride? I mean, at the end of the day, what, 5 or 6 rides at Magic Kingdom that have long lines? Maybe not even that.
My my big issue with all this is just like, man, I just feel like we keep just moving further and further away from Walt's vision of the parks. And it's kind of sad that, this park, like the Disney parks, don't even closely resemble what the parks used to be back for me when I used to go like in like the early 2000s. I'm sure, Russ, when you took Coleman and them, it does not resemble what the
Yep,
parks used to look like. And
that's
it's
right.
just, to me, it just feels just truly sad, just like how much Disney's now more. I would say they pretty much sold out. Like, it's all about money. Like, they're not even hiding it. Like, at least hide it. They're just like, be very in your face. No, it's all about money, money, money. It's kind of like with like EA and like video games. All right. So you buy a ticket, right? But we're gonna only show you about 50% of the game. But we want you to buy all these add-ons to get 100%. And it's just
Well,
like,
Mm.
let me have an unpopular take there on opening day, and for let's see, 1970. I'd say I want to guess over 10 years. I think it was 83 or 4 when this went away. When you walked into the park in those years, you had to buy a separate ticket. You didn't. They literally gave you a view and said, "Hey, look at this big awesome ride. You want to ride it? Give me $2." So I get the Walt's vision. I get the greed and all that. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a multi-billion-dollar corporation. They got shareholders, and that's all that really matters. I mean, who are we kidding?
Right.
But 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 as far as Walt's vision, Walt never. Well, he never had a park that you pay one price and get everything. I mean, I hear what you're saying, but I think sometimes it's forgotten, and I even find myself catching myself like this. What they're asking is they're not asking for this much to ride. And if that were the case, I would agree and say this is ridiculous. We're not going to Six Flags, whatever. But they're not asking for any extra money to ride. They're asking for extra money to not wait as long.
yeah.
Right.
And you guys have grown up in a generation even more so than I did, even much more so than my parents did, that time is more and more valuable because things will move so slowly 2 generations ago, and now they're so fast paced that 30 minutes to you is an eternity. 30 minutes to me was, well, whatever. 30 minutes to my dad, that was nothing. It took him an hour to walk to school. And so I think at this point, time has become so valuable that they're just capitalizing on a, and it's not an indictment on the generation, but they're capitalizing on a generation that wants everything immediately. I
Right.
mean, and I'm even caught up in that. I'm 53, and I'm caught up in that. If I text somebody and they don't respond to me, I'm like, what the heck? Or if I want to buy something on Amazon, I go on Amazon and it's 4-day delivery. I'm like, what the heck? And I mean, when I was your age, I didn't even have internet. So, like, it's funny to me that how quickly we can all become so. I ain't waiting in line. I ain't waiting in line. I ain't waiting in line. When in reality, nobody anywhere in any theme park anywhere has lines that are more waitable. Like Disney spends
Right.
millions of dollars creating line queues that make waiting not terrible. You go to Six Flags, you wait in line, you are in a
Mm-hmm.
jungle of metal rails back and forth out in the middle of the sun, right?
Yep.
But at Disney, I mean, I don't like to wait. I mean, I don't. But I'd rather wait. Winnie the Pooh, for instance, great ride queue. Long line queue. If you have to wait, at least there's something to sit around and do. And not only we got our phones and all that. So my thing is that it's almost like this is being perceived as Disney wants $400 to ride a ride. When I mean, I don't think anybody thinks that. I'm just saying that's like the outcry is almost the same as if they had said, we're now charging to ride. And all they're really doing is saying, you don't want to wait? Cool. How much do you not want to wait? And
Yeah. But
You know?
like I get what you're saying, and they literally just brought this over from Disneyland Paris because they had
Yes.
this at
Yes.
Disneyland Paris, and you're right. It's just like I just feel like, man, it's just another thing that they're adding, and I get, as a corporation, you want to make your money and stuff like that. It's just I don't know. It's like in my gut, I don't feel good about it. Like it's not something I will ever buy. I will continue buying my, I guess, $30 options to get a fast pass. But it's like, when does that now become like, instead of $30, hey, we want $50 now?
Sure.
And then
Yep.
instead of the $400, it's like, well, instead of $400, we want $500 now. And it's just
Well,
like, I
hey,
just
here's a.
feel it's just, we're just getting greedy.
Of course they're greedy. But here's the thing, and this is funny because you have me on and I come on, you're like, yeah, I'm the expert. Yeah, I'm the expert. You know how many times I've bought Genie Plus?
Never.
Never. Now, have I individual lightning lane? Yes, I have. I've paid to ride Guardians, and I think I paid to ride Tron, um, but I'm not their market. Now, will I go to the Polynesian over Christmas and spend $1,200 a night? Yep. But yet I won't pay an extra $40 for Genie Plus. I just, you know, there comes a point to where if I show up to the park, we show up and the lines are long. We're like, nope, I guess today's not the day that we're going to be riding. That's not a
Yeah.
normal. That's not normal because when we're at Disney, I'm on vacation, but we don't. It's not the same. We're not like, okay, we saved up for a year, we're taking the family. Here's the 1 week we have to go, and this is the one day I'm going to be at Magic Kingdom. And I admit that. So I'm different. Our needs are different. We can just walk out of the park and say, well, we'll try tomorrow. But when you realize that 90% of the people who go to Disney are there on vacation, not just goofing around, yeah, $400. That's a bitter pill. I mean, that's you know. Um, but I think people are just going to wait, and people will buy this. But I don't think it's going to be that prevalent. I think you're going to
Right.
just see, now you're starting to hear that thing that we always hear, which is let's just scrap everything and go back to the way it used to be, where
Right.
everything's a line, and here's how long the line is, like it or don't. I've been in favor of that forever, but that's just because it worked back then. I don't know if it'll work now.
Oh, I feel like, just now that money's evolved, we're way moved past that, We
Oh
had
yeah,
that
that'll never
sweet,
happen. Don't get me wrong.
you remember we had that sweet moment after COVID where there was no light fast pass or anything. Everything was just a standby line. And it was great because lines were
Yeah,
probably like 30, 45 minutes. You know what I mean? They were
yeah,
constantly moving. It's just now, like, once the moment you start adding a value to like a line and stuff like that, it's like, well, we're never gonna see a fast pass that's, hey, it's on the house, or and it's just, it's also kind of like just going like even further, like, a lot of these hotels are starting to feel the same. There's not any really theming to them. It's just like the food, they're like cutting down on portions of the food, they're shortening the menus.
yep,
It's like we're kind of just keep moving the goalposts every single time. You know what I mean? And I
yeah,
I think that's what I kind of hate the most is we're moving the goalposts.
yeah.
To what's like what we once had. Like I was just telling somebody yesterday that Topolino's over at Riviera probably had my favorite dish on property. It was like this lobster pasta, and it was so good. And I checked the menu a couple of days ago. They no longer have it.
Hmm.
And I was like, dude, this is the best thing you had. And you don't offer it no more. And I don't know if y'all remember after COVID when Ohana reopened, they were gonna get rid of the noodles.
That's
And they literally got bullied. Disney got bullied on the internet to bring back the noodles.
yes. I remember the noodle problem. Yes.
And the hush puppies. that were gone for a while.
I'm
I think
worried.
they got bullied into bringing those back.
Yeah, on a related note, I'm worried about Ohana. I don't know. That's my favorite restaurant as far as the environment. Uh, I love to be in that restaurant. I love, we stay in the Polynesian a lot. Uh, it used to be my favorite dinner. It's it's just not the same anymore.
Oh no,
Um,
absolutely not.
and,
It's
and it was my favorite breakfast, and not because of the food, because I'm fine with a character breakfast. I'm fine with the old, the big four. You got the eggs, grits, toast, and bacon, whatever. I don't care that, but the characters stink. The the food's not that good anymore. But I loved, my ultimate experience, and my family knows this, is when we had the full family, is you get up super early, you do one of those 7:10 breakfasts at Ohana. You're looking across the water. You see the park. It hasn't opened yet. You finish. You run back to the room. You grab your tennis shoes. You change, or maybe change clothes. Hop on the monorail. Go to the park. That's like no better way to start the day at Disney World than that. And now, Ohana's kind of sucks. And I'm like, how do you mess that up? Like,
All right.
such an iconic spot.
is it
And so.
is it with you for like the skewers and stuff like that?
Well, the breakfast there that's the dinner. You get the skewer and all that stuff. The breakfast is just like the big skillet. They bring
Oh
you the
yeah,
skillet,
I'm not.
and and for some reason you can do that same type food at some other places, but it's at Ohana. It's just not good right now. Like we hear people that go and they're like, yeah, like eggs are all runny and this, like food quality problems. And you would think that you know you would think that they wouldn't have that problem if they're not having it at two hotels down. Like
Yeah,
they don't have runny eggs at Grand Floridian. Why the heck you got it at the Polynesian, right? So,
All right.
um,
yeah.
speaking of, by the way, 1900 Park Fair opening back was awesome. That was uh, they are back exactly like they were pre-COVID as far as their food. Highly recommended character meal for breakfast. Highly recommended.
I had them for dinner. I can give the seal of approval for dinner. They had a really good dinner. A really good dinner.
Yeah,
I never had Ohana for breakfast. I've only had it for dinner. And I was just telling Brian, I was like, dude, just like if you could get a reservation before the fireworks start, and like you have your meal, you have a good view of Magic Kingdom, and then they're piping in the music. You get to watch the fireworks. It's like one of the best meals you'll ever have in your life. And I feel like the quality has it's still good, but it's not to that
yeah,
level
yeah.
of where Ohana used to be. Like they used to bring out the skewers of chicken and shrimp,
Yeah, it was a
and
production. It was a production. It was like almost a dinner show.
yeah,
Like that restaurant was just was just different. It was, you just I don't know. It just something's different about it. And we're gonna be down there in November. We're doing 2 weeks. We're gonna be at Beach Club for a week, and then we're moving to Polynesian for a week uh, over Calvin's birthday, the end of the month here. We're gonna be at Polynesian for a week, and I have an Ohana breakfast booked, and I'm going to give it another shot because I want it to be great, and I'm just going to keep trying. Um, I'm not a big Lilo and Stitch guy, but I want to give it another shot, and we might do a dinner if I can get one. We may try another dinner. It's been a year or so, so you
hey,
never know.
you should
I just keep
definitely
hoping.
take a video for us about your Ohana breakfast experience so we could post it on our YouTube channel.
Yes, yeah, maybe I will. I just want it to be good. Like, I want to go in and say, Ohana's back. I'm so happy, right? But at the end of the day, I don't know. They it's just such a great environment. It should be everything that Chef Mickey's is at the Contemporary. It should be that at the Polynesian. There's no excuse.
When will you be down there, Russ?
29th through the 12th, 2 weeks.
Oh, I'll be there right with you.
So I think I leave 2 weeks from Yeah, 2 weeks from Tuesday, from last Tuesday. So, and then we'll be down there for 2 weeks. So,
I'll be there the 28th through the 10th.
all right, you on property?
No, we're staying at Universal.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
That's that I envy you in a way because I've never done that. So,
We did it last time. We stayed at Cabana Bay. We really liked it.
nice. Yeah.
So we went more budgety this time. We're gonna stay at
Hey,
Dockside.
At
while
what?
while we have Russ, we should probably discuss. There was breaking news today about the about Epic Universe, and I remember I mentioned to you about going to Epic Universe. Russ, is that something
Yes.
you still interested in?
Of course it is. And Coleman and I, D23, we hit Universal out there in Hollywood. And I'm not a big Universal guy, not because I don't like it, but because I just can never drag myself off Disney property. So, and when I end up at Universal, which that was my third or fourth day in a Universal park in my life, I leave saying, man, I ought to go to Universal more. This is so good. I mean, they just don't disappoint. Their rides
Yeah,
are just on point. They are. And, the Mario ride, crazy. I mean, we talked about all that. I think we already talked about that stuff. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm all in. I mean, my daughter-in-law works there. Of course I'm all in.
Yeah, we gotta plan a trip. I think it's the opening day's May 22nd, so that's a Thursday. And I was looking at
What
me
day
and
was it?
Brian off camera were talking about the Helios, and we said how it's gonna be so expensive. Brian, I think it's only $300 a day.
no, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, I was like, if
Well,
my
now
wife
it's not.
goes,
Yeah, thank you, Disney. Now it's not a lot.
True, very true.
They just set the market.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
we were honestly going $800 a night. That was our mindset.
Yeah,
Was because you're so used to a Disney price.
yeah. Well, I mean, I do like Universal's model of rewarding their deluxe hotels, guests.
Yeah,
The problem with Disney is they have too many deluxe hotels to do that.
true.
Like, it's not like they got three. They have too many, and so it's opening it up to too many. And not only that, they've proven that they don't have to offer any extra perks. What do we get, an extra hour or something every once in a while?
I think it's like extra half hour now, right?
Yeah, I think so. Some days.
those extra magic hours used to be everything, right? Because like, wasn't it
Uh,
like 2 hours before the park opened and like 2 hours
uh,
after?
Dude, I remember when the kids were little and we had our whole group, 14, 15 people down there. The parks would close at 11 at night, or Magic Kingdom would close at like 11 or 12. 2 to 3 hours extra magic after.
Man,
You realize what you can do at 2 o'clock in the morning at Magic Kingdom? Anything you want to do. I mean, you're just
yeah,
limited as to what you want to walk to. And those days were so much fun. I mean, you got 5, 6, 7,000 people in the park at 2 o'clock in the morning. You're riding anything you want to ride.
man, that's crazy.
It,
It's just
it, it just seems like a fever dream.
it was so much fun, man. Those were the days.
Yeah,
So
Those were
so
the days.
so we're definitely doing Epic Universe, right?
That's in May.
Yeah.
I hope so. I
I'll
hope
uh
so.
I
I'll hit
that's my
Coleman
reaction.
up and tell him he needs to take 3 days off, and
Yep.
we're gonna stay at the Helios. We're gonna get up at 4 o'clock in the morning
Uh huh.
to wait for Epic Universe. Hopefully, we're gonna have the time of our lives.
It only happens once, right?
I
An
mean,
opening day.
I'm always up for an adventure. I, I don't say no to any of that. I mean, there's no reason why not. That's for sure.
Yeah. Or Russ,
That's
the
true.
way I see it is you just gotta adopt me and Brian.
Yeah, there's no tax advantage to that anymore. You're too old. I mean, that sounds like a great idea, but you're too old. You don't. There's nothing in it for me. I'll I'll buy you a hot dog.
Hey, you said it.
When's the Helios open? Do we know?
That's what I was trying to figure out. I don't know.
I think
I
it
know.
has to open with the park, right?
since it is connected, I would
You would
imagine
think
so.
they would open before, but who knows?
Well, so
they'll do some type of preview.
The other two hotels are open. Are opening before the park opens.
Yeah.
Those two value hotels, the Terra Nova, Terra Luna. I don't know what they're called. Stella Nova. I want to say they're opening up in like maybe late this year or definitely early next year.
This is what needs to happen, Christian. You need to go get a job at Epic Universe, and you
I
need to get
agree.
us in for opening day, and then you quit. That's it.
I mean, that sounds like a great idea. I mean that's actually that's a really good idea, Christian.
I mean, you get us in for employee preview and everything, man.
Yeah, you might even have like a hiring bonus or something,
Dude.
and then just ditch it. I mean, like just later,
Yep.
just ditch it.
Well, it'd just be like, wasn't what I thought it was. Later.
So
That's it.
long, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull a Julio Jones when he left the Falcons.
Yeesh.
Ouch. You mean the NFC South division leading Atlanta Falcons?
Hey, man.
Is that who you're talking about there, Christian? I think that's who you're talking about.
Raheem Morris, baby. Raheem Morris.
He's something else. I mean,
yeah,
we're all in. We're all in right now.
Our defense. I'm a Rams fan, so our defense is
Yep.
definitely missing Raheem Morris. So
I think y'all missing Aaron Donald too.
we're missing a lot of things right now. So we're missing an entire offensive line. How about that?
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, but yeah, Epic Universe. It sounds like a great idea. I who knows where I'll be in May of next year, but if it's something we can pull off, I'm always up for an adventure.
Hey,
Brian,
let's
you
get
win?
the wheels moving, man. You put the wheels in motion. I think I kind of have to be in, right?
Wifey, are you in? She's looking at me crazy.
Well, you guys don't have to travel for it. See, for me and Russ, it's a accommodations and all that stuff. So.
What are you talking about? Russ just has to drive down.
True.
I'll be flying down most likely.
It's a whole trip for me, man. It's a 6-hour flight. So.
Yeah, that's a hike. It's a little bit. It's like D23. It's a little bit more of a commitment for us.
Christian always like, oh, you should come down for the weekend. Like I'm 3 hours away.
Yeah.
Well, it
takes me 7 to drive, and if I fly, it's still a 5.5, 6 hour commitment. So
it is, yeah, with security and all that. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I mean, I got to get there early, and I got to get there from wherever. So yeah, it's a half day to get there. But it's worth it. So
hey, we just need to get popular so this can become a tax write-off for us.
Oh, y'all aren't writing this off?
I don't even, I think we're putting money into it. So.
Yeah, I wrote off my entire Polynesian stay, the last one, because I did the podcast from the balcony of my room. And so I wrote that whole week off, and those rooms were like $700 a night. So I hope that's not a problem.
Oh no, that's cool. We'll flip the bill for it.
Yeah, no, I just wrote it off. Y'all don't have to pay. I just figured that's I didn't consult my tax attorney, but I figured he'd agree.
You were working, man. You were working.
Yeah, I mean, I was working. I wouldn't have been on that balcony if I hadn't been doing this podcast. So,
hey man, we'll get there eventually. I think.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, I'll be here.
All right, Russ. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we let you go?
No, I think we've covered everything. Yeah, I will not be buying the $400 pass, but I will probably be videoing people who do, and so I might shift, put that on Facebook or something. Just say, hey, look at these people.
Hey, real quick, have you ever considered buying the VIP tour?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we did one. We've done it before. Coleman's wedding, we did one. But yeah, I would, depending on who was going. Like if I ever brought my mom and dad back or something, like something like that, when they're old, they're older, or if I ever do a grandkids trip, if I ever get more grandkids, yeah, I probably would do something like that. I would more likely do that than the $400. That's for sure.
Right, because that's
Because the tour
steep.
is what, I don't know how much it is, but it's I don't know, 4-hour minimum or something like that.
Yeah.
But I think that's I think that's a more valuable thing. I mean, because I remember when we did our last tour, we rode Pandora. We stepped out behind the park into a van, drove over behind Rock and Roller Coaster, hopped on Rock and Roller. Like we didn't even walk through the parks. So I mean that VIP experience that's what, $400-500 an hour. But you can take, I think, 8 people, 10 people, something like that. So it I mean, to me, much better deal. I mean, we rode like Pandora and Rock and Roller Coaster, Rise. We rode like 6 rides in like 2 hours at 4 different parks.
And I was gonna say, and you can park hop that, right? So
Yeah, because they drive you around in a van.
Yeah, that's cool.
So you don't even have to get on transportation. Now that I think more people are going to be looking into that. It's they're going to be like, hey, what's this tour thing they're talking about? So for a once in a lifetime vacation, why not, right?
I think I would love to do a tour maybe at Disneyland.
That would be pretty awesome, wouldn't it?
Disney, yeah. There's just something being at Disneyland. It just hits differently.
There's something there's a nostalgia that you just can't beat. Yeah.
Brian, you're very lucky to have to grow up in Southern Cal, and you get to just go to Disneyland anytime you want.
You say that, but I'm there almost every weekend.
All right.
I mean, it does lose a little bit of the magic being there every weekend. I'm not gonna lie. Like I look forward to Disney World a lot more, obviously, because I'm rarely there. But yeah, there are days though where I kind of like have to step back and kind of look around and be like, dude, I'm at Disneyland.
Yeah. Again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, man, I appreciate you guys having me on, and it's always a pleasure. And I guess Pete Rose Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Posthumously, I suppose. I don't know. I'm 50-50 on that now. The more I think about it,
right.
That's all right.
I'm sure when there's some earth-shattering announcement, we're gonna have you back on for that expert analysis.
Bring me back for anything, even the boring stuff. I'm always in for it. Thank you guys. Always good to talk to you.
Of course, of course.
All right, talk to you guys. Take care.
All right, later.
Later, buddy.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Wildest Ride podcast. Please follow us on Facebook and on YouTube for the latest content. And make sure you subscribe on Spotify so you don't miss any of our latest episodes. And I hope to see you back here real soon.